feel it coming. I feel it coming.
Well, right off the cats at your peril on Thursday night, they were back doing what they do well. That was an ugly sight. Thankfully, hopefully, Jeremy Cameron's all right. The man that knocked him out was this man, Garry Lyon, who then turned around and just put Melbourne to the sword in the last quarter. The whole game opened up. They scored from the back half and they put Melbourne away, and now they sit ominously just outside the top 8, and everyone inside the top 8's looking over their shoulder. He was fantastic, Garry Lyon.
Incredibly courageous performance.
Wasn't it?
In the context of knocking out your best player, one of your best players in your team, a very important player, to go out there and have the mental resilience to steel yourself and have a big impact on the result of the game, shows a fair bit about his character, because he's been much maligned, Gaz.
Yep, no, indeed. And it raises the question about Melbourne's ability to do some stuff at the other end. Oh, there's Garry Lyon, his highest rated 3-match period of his career. So that is a great sign, and particularly given what happened to him. So we turn our attention to Melbourne, who are in a really interesting situation. They beat Collingwood, which no one can do when that's a close game. They held on to the lead, but then they were in a great position at three-quarter time. They were, I think, a couple of goals ahead. Momentum had swung to them. I'm still worried about Brodie Grundy, and I'm not quite sure whether they've got it right. And I know they've got most of their recruiting right in recent times, so you have faith. But
what's your main concern, though?
Well, my main concern is that I'm in danger of seeing Max Gawn being reduced to a role player. And I love Max's selflessness in all of this. He's gone, yes, I want Brodie and I want him to be shared. But this is the dominant ruckman as a Melbourne supporter. He's the last 5 times he's the best ruckman in the competition. One of those times he's the captain. He's a 6-time All-Australian. And in the losses that we've seen in recent times to Port Adelaide and Geelong, he took a total of 1 intercept marks. One. Not a total. He took 1 intercept mark in 2 weeks. And so I'm trying to work this through, and it's like a therapy session. Let's just get it out on the table. So in the past, he's the man. His ability to get behind the footy and protect and take intercept marks when the pressure comes has been the thing that's held them up so beautifully. His centre bounce ruck work's been superb. So I've tried for an analogy. Stick with me. It's like the Australian cricket team. They had Smith as the best player in the world, which is, that's the Gawn. They had Labuschagne, who's the best up-and-comer. That's Jackson. Now, Jackson's gone. Let's just say Labuschagne's gone. The response is like saying, OK, let's bat Smith at 5 and bring Warner in and bat him at 6. So all of a sudden, what made Australia great, with Stephen Smith at 4, they've gone away from it. So what made Melbourne great, and I still think Max Gawn's the most important player, is they've gone away from it. He's the number 1 ruckman in the competition. He's now... And so then you go to Brodie Grundy.
That's not allowing him, playing ruck's not allowing him to get beyond the ball and take intercept marks as well.
No, because Brodie's got to get his lick of the ice cream as well, because he can't play forward, Brodie.
It looked great in the pre-season, didn't it, when they were both taking clunks in front of the ball.
Look at this.
And this is probably, in my experience with Broads, he's a natural number 1 ruckman, as is Max Gawn. Broads hasn't played a lot of football in front of the ball, and he's not a natural forward. I think so. He's been targeted 8 times. I think he's only taken 6 marks inside.
Brodie flourished more by playing big minutes in the ruck, trying to wear his opponent
That's
down.
what we found.
Don't ignore that one there, though. Let's just get that's 278 minutes, and they've targeted him 8 times. So either they haven't got confidence in him, or he's not getting to the right spot, or their structure doesn't allow him to be a sort of a forward that they need.
With the other one that can happen is you never see him on the lead. He's a long call-it-in player, and if you get caught in a pack, that's not going to come up in a target as such. So that's probably where a lot of his forward play is involved in, probably 3 or 4 other pairs, which is just a kick to a contest rather than a target.
It's not his great strength, though, Brodie Grundy, either, a pack marker. He wasn't as a ruckman.
It's not his... he actually plays like a big midfielder.
Their ruck numbers aren't too bad. So you're looking at that, they're not too bad. There is a difference when we go to the next page here. They get a bit of a better result from Max Gawn when he rucks as opposed to Brodie from centre bounce stuff. But and that's 7%. OK, that's not the end of the world. But they're going to have to make a decision. They're going to have to make a decision somewhere, whether Brodie Grundy assumes a Luke Jackson role. We'll talk about Luke Jackson in a moment. Can he play like Luke Jackson's playing at the...
So you're suggesting that the impact on Max Gawn has made it a not great decision?
Yeah, I think Max Gawn has suffered as a result. The Max Gawn, the dominant ruckman of the last 6 years, is sacrificing to the point where it's impacting on Melbourne. 1 intercept mark in 2 losses. He's had 8 score involvements in the 3 losses, 8 in total. in those last 3 losses. The Brisbane one I don't count because he got injured early. So, great. He's sacrificing for Brodie. Brodie's been okay, but he hadn't been great enough to go, well, let's reduce the number one dominant ruckman in the comp to just a bit of a role player.
Is it possible to play him rucking at the same time? So Max playing back half ruck, Brodie playing forward half ruck?
Not according to those numbers with Brodie.
Or the other way around?
Well,
Is it possible to do that at the same time?
We knew that Melbourne were going to throw things around and try and work out. Well, they've had the experience with Gawn and Jackson, clearly. And Jackson going to Fremantle has, he's in the same mix with a Sean Darcy. But Gawn and Grundy have been available together for most of the year, so they've had a lot of time to work this out. In the end, it's not just about those two. It's how are Melbourne going to play their best football?
No,
I suppose Max Gawn at his best helps Melbourne.
No, well, that's the point. And the other part of it is that their forward half, they're a broken record, their connection and their ability, they're kicking 58, 60 points a game. That is all part of it because you're resting one of those players forward as well. So the mix and the makeup of that becomes compromised as well. So it's a challenge for them. So what do? I want him to be the ruckman. I want him to be the dominant ruckman again and drive Melbourne into a finals campaign. What's that mean for Brodie? Well, he's going to have to try and prove that he can fit in somewhere.
Well, that's why it's a head scratcher because previously in his career so far, he hasn't proven himself as a forward. You're trying to improve your forward part of your game. Well, they've let Luke Jackson go. He's going pretty well for Fremantle, Gazzy.